All right, when the New York Times says a prosecutor is getting a bit too aggressive, chasing down one Donald J. Trump, and a number of others have kind of said the same thing, you got to wonder, there's no mystery behind the better than $12 million that Donald Trump's campaign has raised since news of the indictment first came down. Mark Penn is with us right now, the former Clinton advisor and pollster, Stagwell CEO. Good read of all things politics and the numbers behind them. Mark, good to have you.
Thank you.
Well, let's first of all get into what's behind this money rush to Donald Trump. I mean, obviously, it's one thing from the base saying this is a little too extreme and we're here to support you and show it by giving more to you. But a lot of it must be propelled by even a number of Democrats, maybe not necessarily giving to the former president, but criticizing the prosecutor for maybe a case of overreach. What do you think?
I wouldn't count on a lot of Democrats being among the contributions because actually the overwhelming majority of Democrats support the indictment, even if they think he's going to be acquitted and even if they think it's an unjust indictment because of the erosion of our politics. But I do think there's a rush of money here because he's under attack. People think he could use it to defend himself, and because they think it's wrong that this indictment is occurring in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and I've seen that as well, the 60+% who are the idea that this is fine. But when you get into what has been raised on the part of Alvin Bragg in this case, as I said, this New York Times editorial that tears it apart a little bit. Others, the Washington Post, have been saying similar things, not across the board, even though I think they welcome anything that will make Donald Trump the nominee because he's deemed to be the candidate Joe Biden, assuming it's Joe Biden, could beat. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. I think that it's a dangerous game when you say that Donald Trump is the one who could be beaten when he has a history of defying the odds. I think, if anything, my most recent poll showed Donald Trump beating Joe Biden by 3 or 4 points in a general election, and that was I think just either before or around the time of the indictment. So I think that that's a big mistake. I think that there are a lot of Democrats that just want to somehow get Donald Trump, and some think he should be the nominee. But by and large, he could be a very strong nominee, but the country won't benefit from a Trump-Biden choice, in my view.
You know, the backdrop for this, just today, a jobs report that shows steady job growth, better than 1 million in the first 3 months of the year. The administration's constantly have been going back to that. It says it's a good economy. We're nowhere near a recession. But he gets little polling reward for that, even if that were the case. What do you think of that?
Well, 2/3 of the people think the country's in the wrong direction, and about the same number think the economy is in the wrong direction, because inflation is really something that affected everybody. It was not something that people had really felt for 30 or 40 years. I always say, like, if you weren't 60, you didn't know what it was about. And I think fundamentally people think that the runaway spending and the inflation is what's eating at them in terms of their economic well-being, and that's why even a good jobs report doesn't seem to make a real difference.
We'll watch closely. Mark, good seeing you again. Mark Penn, a key Clinton advisor, representing someone who was not given a chance. And, of course, history had a way of confusing people there and surprising them.